want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
We are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
Your home for healthy masculinity. We're just real men having real conversations for you. Oh, yeah. Listen up, maggots. You are not
That's
special.
right.
You are not a beautiful or unique snowflake. You are the same decaying matter as everything else. We are all the same dancing crap of the world.
Truth, man. That's truth. That's truth. Hey, I am Kirk M. Samuels.
And I am Jason B. Kendrick.
And we are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you. And tonight we're revisiting the You're Not Special because you ain't special.
Yeah.
That's why we scheduled 5:30 and we came on early because you know what?
Yeah.
You ain't special. You better be here.
So for those of y'all that don't know, we record our show on Mondays for KLDC 1220 AM in the Mile High City, and we package that for all the interwebs as well, Facebook, YouTube, all the Buzzsprout, all the podcast platforms, and all that kind of stuff. And then so that's an hour. We do 4 13-minute segments on that one, and you get to hear all the stuff in between. But in addition to that, we come back and we do a bounce back, a little abridged, shorter version. So this conversation is going to be pretty short, but about the same topic. And you know, maybe we'll keep this 25, 30 minutes, something like that for all you people, you know, in the back of the room.
Have attention spans. Short busters, no attention span.
Yeah. No attention span at all.
So bring it up again. Let's come back around.
Yeah, let's bring it up again, man. Let's do this, man. You know, I was listening to the radio. Sometimes I drive around, and sometimes I listen to Sirius XM. And there's a popular song out by a young lady by the name of Lizzo.
Who's that?
And the song is called Special. And the premise behind the song is, if ain't nobody tell you today you're special, and it's about waking up and looking in the mirror and, you know, just telling yourself how special you are and all that kind of stuff, man. And I realized one day when I was listening to that not too long ago that we have a special culture in our country, man, in our collective culture, you know, capital culture. We have a lowercase c culture called, you know, I think it's a special culture. You know, it's about like people's need to just be special, not do something special, but just tell themselves like, I'm special, and I'm special. And then maybe it's the, you know, 50-year-old me that says, get off my lawn. But the reality is, man, you ain't special. You might be unique. We're all unique and all that kind of stuff. We're all, you know, in our own special ways, in our own unique ways, especially unique. But we ain't special. Everybody ain't special. And if ain't nobody told you you're special, you probably haven't done nothing special for nobody.
Yeah, I think that's the point we came up to last night. We'll reiterate tonight. But if you are special, somebody's told you you're special. It means you've contributed something, you've done something in their lives, and so they find you special. They hold you as special. But if you're going, I am special, well, that's just you trying to either pump yourself up, which I get it. Sometimes we need, you know, sometimes we need a little pump up. But if you really want to pump up, go out in the world and be contributing, do something nice for people, go out there and, you know, help somebody move or mow their lawn, or, you know, go do something for somebody else. I think that's, you know, the problem with a lot of those kind of femme anthem songs and this specialness movement is that you're trying to make yourself special without actually doing anything to gain quote unquote specialness. I don't think specialness is really the prize. I think contributing is the prize. I think being of service is the prize. And if you are feeling down, then go out and be of service, because nothing will make you feel better than being of service and lifting somebody else up. But if you're feeling down, if you have low self-esteem and you're like, oh, I got to make myself feel special. Well, looking in the mirror and saying I'm special isn't going to make you feel special. Getting out in the world around other people and talking to them and helping them and being of service, and probably most likely being you, the most unique you can be, following your strengths, doing the things that you love to do and doing that with other people will make you feel special the way you want to feel, but it involves other people. This whole I'm special, so you got to treat me special, like demanding specialness is just going to get you miserable in the long run.
You know, it's like when you wake up in the morning, man, everybody don't wake up in the morning special. When you look at yourself in the mirror, brushing your teeth, you know, by that point in the day, you're probably as special as the last thing you did before you went to bed. Like you just don't wake up inherently special, most people. And that a lot of times that special culture gives people an excuse. I'm special. That's why I can't get a relationship, because I'm special and I'm not going to settle for nobody that ain't as special as me, or nobody that don't see me as special as I see myself. I mean, it's an excuse. Everything you don't have is because everybody can't see how special you are just because you woke up with this glow of special effervescence. And it's like, man, no, you're not like a what they call them, the humidifier, the things that puff up the whatever, the essential oils. You're not like one of them aroma things that you just naturally puff out, like eucalyptus or some lavender or something. Like you ain't, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Michael Jordan, definitely. I mean,
he's special.
You won't find a hard conversation to argue that Michael Jordan is the GOAT of basketball, greatest of all time. That being said, he retired. And, after he retired, Kobe Bryant had a pretty good career. He was on top of the heap. He was the man in the NBA. He had that fire, he had that burn. You hear all the stories about him, all that kind of stuff, man. So, there was somebody that stepped in and filled that role, that unique role in the NBA. And then Kobe retired and then passed away, unfortunately. And guess what? LeBron and a whole lot of other guys having a pretty good career, being on top of the heap in the NBA leader. Is as special as Michael Jordan was he wakes up in the morning, he last time he dribbled a basketball. So you don't just wake up every day with, he might be filthy rich from all that, and okay. But guess what? When you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth and you flicking toothpaste all over the mirror in front of you. You're not just inherently special, man. I mean, we gotta accept that. Just wake up in the morning that way.
Yeah, I mean, we dug into it last night. We'll do it again because I think this is really important. Is that a lot of this specialness, this entitlement, is coming from a lot of our generation to our kids, because a lot of us didn't get to feel special. A lot of us didn't get those warm fuzzy feelings a lot. Granted, not having those things probably made us more prepared for life, but because we didn't get those things, we thought, oh, I need to give those things to my kids. So now then we had participation trophies, and don't make the kids feel bad. And so we didn't teach them with reality. There was a lack of reality. So now they're unprepared for real life. And we try to tell them, oh, well, you're special no matter what. Well, guess what? They're your kids. They're special to you. The guy next door that's yelling at them, get off their lawn, they ain't special to him. They're just some other kids that are annoying to him. And so some of this comes from, we got to take responsibility as the elders. Like, oh, maybe some of this is on us, that we have this entitled generation because we did not give them a taste of reality. We just wanted them to feel special, and we worried so much about their emotions and how they felt. But part of the issue nowadays is that they have lack of self-esteem. They have lack of self-worth because they didn't get a reality check. Like, hey, you're special to me. You're my kids. I'll die for you. But dude down the street, he doesn't care. And that's how the rest of the world is. So nobody owes you anything. I got your back, but the rest of the world doesn't care. So you still need to go out there and contribute. You need to come out and do the best work. And somebody like Michael Jordan or any of these celebrities we can name that we can say, oh, these are special people. They put in the work. They're contributing something to society. They, even if it's playing a game or playing music, they're contributing something. So find your uniqueness, your personal strengths, and contribute those to society. And then you'll start to have those experiences of feeling special, of feeling wanted, of feeling somebody who's grateful for you and appreciative of who you are. But if you're just demanding, I'm special, I demand to be, treated as special, it's not going to turn out well, especially if you're around somebody who has any sort of backbone or their own self-awareness and self-esteem. They're going to be like, I ain't got time for that.
All right. And so this is, you talk about, people and people's kids and all that kind of stuff. People let their kids run around the restaurant, run all over the airplane. People let their kids run around different
I tripped
places,
them kids.
and it's like, what I'm saying? You just want to, whatever. The point is, your kid is special to you. Your kid ain't special to me. So make your kid sit down and go sit down and shut up somewhere. Sit down and be quiet kind of thing. And, and you're special because you're special to someone. That specialness has to do with the relationship, has to do with the connection to someone or something or some whatever. I don't have an issue. I'm not here to put somebody in a box in terms of I really don't care what color of the rainbow you are. I don't care what letter of the alphabet you are. The reality is, when I see all of the different letters in the alphabet population, I see a bunch of people that want to say, I'm special. I'm not like them. I'm not, I'm not an L. I'm not a G. I'm not a B. I'm not a, and then there's so many letters in the alphabet that you got to just put a plus. And the flag has so many colors and different directions. And now they got symbols in the flag and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, that's one example. I mean, you have a whole lot of examples. I mean, you got examples of everybody gets a trophy, and I mean, everybody has to be acknowledged for this and that. And, the reality is, maybe we don't all need to just be recognized for the specialness of my uniqueness and all that kind of stuff, man. And there's different ways that plays out for men and for women, but and we'll obviously get into that. But these are the kind of things that exist in our culture. It's a mindset of I need to somehow stand out. I need to matter. I need my own little niche. I need my own little whatever because I'm special. And it's like, man, you special when you do something special. You ain't special just because you think a certain way or you act a certain way or you think you're special or whatever. You're special because of what you do and who you do it for.
Yeah, and part of I think the issue is social media and all of the stuff on the news nowadays about you got to have so many followers and that makes you special. You got to have so many views. You got to have all these different things. And granted, we fall into that too. We want followers, we want views, but we want it because we're contributing something of value. And it seems like most of the people who get the most views, they're contributing something, but I don't necessarily know it's a value. It's entertainment, but this idea that you have to be on the pedestal, that you have to separate yourself from other people and be different. What's that doing? What's that is doing is separating you from people. And it's interesting because a lot of those folks, these Instagram influencers, these TikTok influencers, they're at home alone. Like they don't have people in their lives, so they're reaching out through the internet to try to find some sort of feeling of specialness, some sort of connection, but it's not true connection. And that's why we say get out there and be your unique self in a community, and you will feel those ways because it's specialness comes from. And then here's, I mean, you break down the word specialness. It's special means it's minute, it's unique, it's small, which means it usually comes from your small group, your family, your small community. And if you're separate from all those people, and if you continue to separate yourself because you demand specialness because I am this whatever pronoun or gender or whatever, and you're just trying to find ways to separate yourself, most of the time people will accept you for who you are if you just be who you are. But if you start demanding this, I need you to use a certain pronoun, because I'm special, that's going to make them upset because you're demanding them to use language they didn't agree to use. They didn't sign that contract saying, "Oh, I agree to use whatever you want." It's not how the world works. You want to be yourself, contribute something, and then you will start to feel those feelings of specialness, of being appreciated, being needed. But when you just demand those things, and ladies, I mean, a lot of y'all are single now and may stay single because you have bought into this. I'm special. I have, I want all X, Y, and Z, 6 figures, 6 feet tall, six everything else. So there's only 2% of the men that fit all those categories, probably. So good luck with that. I mean, maybe if you're a 1 or 2% of yourself, you'll get that. But being yourself, being somebody who's contributing and who is appreciative of others. And that's one of the things I really noticed. A lot of the folks who are demanding specialness, they don't appreciate anybody else. They're these entitled, rude, um, frankly, just almost I can't really deal with these people because they just are there to make like a scene and to show how special they are by being rude, and all these Karens and these Chads and all these different guys who are just not contributing anything of value. And that's all we're saying is like you are valuable, you are unique, but you may not be special.
Yeah. People, when you buy into the special culture, you have a tendency to be sensitive too. Like, you have a tendency to get your feelings hurt a lot because somebody didn't recognize how special you are, and somebody said something you didn't agree with, or somebody mentioned your population, a group of people, and they didn't affirm you, and they didn't build you up and tell you how special you are. And so therefore you get offended and you want to cancel. That's where cancel culture comes from. Cancel culture is you don't shine me, You don't blow me up. You don't tell me, you don't recognize how special I am. You don't talk positive about me or the things I believe and the things I think about. So therefore, you need to be canceled. You need to be canceled because you don't recognize how special I am. That's the whole crux cancel culture. And when it comes down to it, it's like, especially from a guy perspective, we don't have room to be sensitive. I mean, quick reset. Kirk M. Samuels, Jason B. Kendrick, Madmen of Masculinity, KLDC 1220 AM in the Mile High City is where you can find us weekly. Saturday mornings at 8, Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. But then, of course, we're online on the digital webs everywhere. And so hit like, subscribe, share, all that kind of good stuff. If you hate us, let us know. If you're watching us, put a comment up there. We'll see it. JBK will make you famous. We don't expect everybody to agree. Are we special? I mean, there's a lot of talking heads out here with microphones. So, but at the same time, we try to up level men and population as a result. But anyhow, us as men, we don't have room to walk around thinking we're special because the world doesn't work that way. The world rewards us for what we contribute, what we produce, what we maintain, what we protect, all those kinds of things. And so we don't have the freedom to walk around as men being all up in our feelings, acting like little kids, little wounded boys that most of us are. We don't have that freedom because the real world doesn't work that way. We as men, man, we got to be able to recognize that, sometimes average is okay. Sometimes average is pretty daggone cool, right? In a whole lot of different ways. And so we don't have the freedom to walk around with the special culture, especially as men.
Yeah, there's something that's going on today, and I think I quoted one of my favorite movies of all time, Fight Club, in the beginning. But we were told that we would be movie stars and rock stars and millionaires, and we're starting to figure out that that's not going to happen, and it's pissing us off. Well, that's kind of a true quote because we've been sold this bill of goods and thinking that we have to be millionaires, billionaires, jet setters, all stuff. That's good for a small percentage, but for most of us, if we were honest, we don't want that. If we had it, it would make us miserable. And that's part of the problem with the specialist culture is everybody thinks they need to be this special pedestalized person, where what you really just need is some friends and a small community that actually knows who you are deep down, which means you need to be present, you need to be vulnerable, you need to be yourself so that they can decide for themselves if they like you. And guarantee you, if you do those things, you will meet people who like you for who you are. And then you'll actually start to feel special in a genuine way. You'll start to feel appreciated in a genuine way. But trying to manufacture all this stuff out of thin air, it's tiresome now. It's getting old and it's really unhealthy. And that's what I see is for a lot of us. And I'm not immune. I went through the whole thing. I had all these dreams of like, I need to be a best-selling author and international speaker and yada, yada, yada. And I've done a lot of those things, but I did them at my level. And I realize now that if I had done them at these bigger levels and got more fame and all this stuff, well, with more fame and more money comes more problems. Biggie wasn't wrong. So make sure that you are being honest with yourself. Like, what level do I want to be at? Do I really want to be in a position where I can't go shopping? I can't go out without people mobbing me. I can't go do things and be have any anonymity anymore. Or maybe you just want to have a close knit of friends who know you, who truly know you, who appreciate you for who you are, who you get to be yourself around. And that will generate the specialness that we're dying for nowadays, that we're trying to get through this 2-dimensional screen all the time by doing stupid dances and making stupid faces and like us being talking heads on the screen going, hey, look at us and like us. Well, honestly, we don't care if you don't like us, but anyway, be special with the people that are close to you because specialness is about small groups.
All right. The odds are 99.99999% of us, 30 minutes after our funeral, somebody's going to be saying, pass the mashed potatoes.
Uh-huh.
The reality is,
don't forget the gravy.
Right. I mean, the reality is most of us, fit into that category. Now, what if it was our goal to be special to 3 to 5 people over the course of our lives? Like where 3 to 5 people will be thinking about us a year or 2 or 5 years after we're gone. 3 to 5 people will miss us deeply when we're gone. I mean, over the course of your life. What if you live life like that instead of trying to be, somebody that they're going to name a holiday after? How many people have holidays named after them? Not a whole lot of people. So what if we just focus daily on being special to 3 to 5 people over the course of our lives, a long-term version of that. I mean, that I think is a more healthy mindset where you can manage that on a realistic humanity level. But just the man, I gotta be special. And if I'm not just generically globally special, then because guess what? You can be famous. Like there are ways that your name can be on every news channel in the world. But guess, those ways aren't ways that you want to go out. And so, and again, I think you mentioned men. I think, women, men, and oh man, a lot of times y'all buy into that special sauce that they're trying to sell you, all of that propaganda that you're special. And when you're not special, when you realize that, okay, guess what? When if you were not in that man's life, he's probably going to move on. When I think of all the people that I know all the couples that I know who've been through divorce, there's very few, if many, off the top of my head that I can think of where the woman moved on to another relationship before the man. What I'm saying is, odds are, and if you think about all the people who have gone through a divorce, more often than not, by far, the man has moved on to another relationship with a long-term relationship with a woman. And so, women buy into this and you get sold this kind of stuff. Like you said, all these fem anthems of how fantastic you are. And then you got to go get needles stuck in your face and you got to use filters and you got to show cleavage, all up on a screen and do all kinds of stuff to get attention and all that. And you just buy into something that you don't need to buy into.
Yeah, and a lot of times what we see, and we partner, we do talks, we do workshops with a lot of singles groups because we want to be of service. And what we're finding is a lot of times because the a lot of ladies bought into this kind of specialness. Well, he doesn't give me the feels anymore. I don't feel special anymore. And all my girlfriends who are out here single, they feel special because this guy's taking them on trips and doing that. Well, that's the beginning of the relationship. True specialness, to Kirk's point, you want to be special to 3 to 5 people in your life. Those are the people you have spent time with. You've gone through the mud with. You've had the trials and tribulations with, and you've gone through them. And that's what makes you special to that person because you've gone through life together. But if you're like, oh well, I don't feel a certain way because are you appreciating that man for what he's doing? I mean, I realize that not all relationships are great because most of us weren't really trained to have relationships, especially in our generation. So that's why I think part of the reason divorce rate's so high. But if you're in a relationship and you're not appreciating that person, if you're in that relationship and you're not serving that person, you're not serving the relationship, then you're putting the relationship and yourself at a detriment because it's about 2 people coming together to serve the bigger entity of the relationship, the family, the legacy. But if you're just in there about what am I going to get, and you got your little single girlfriends like crabs in a bucket going, come down here with us, water's fine, and telling you all these things that you're missing out on, you got to look at it from a realistic standpoint. Like we all go through phases in life, and sometimes we all want to stay in our 20s, but when you're in your 40s and 50s, that ain't a good look. So what are you actually really truly wanting? And can you be honest with yourself and go, hey, I'm getting older, maybe I want different things, and if I appreciate the things I do have, they will gain value, they will appreciate. But if I'm looking at this guy every day, and granted you live together, you're mirroring each other, you're going to get on each other's nerves, but can you get through that and appreciate each other? That's where that real depth of love and appreciation and specialness really truly comes from.
And there are men who would lay down their life for a woman. There are men, and I would say most men probably would love to get to that point because if a man is willing to do that for a woman, serve, honor, protect, sacrifice, all those kinds of things, she is special to him. Like she does things for him and in his life that he can't get anywhere else. And so not just because she shows up, but while she's there, she does some very deep, profound things for him. And most men want to be that place. But if you walk in the door and the guy is already preaching to you about how special you are, that's a red flag because you ain't done nothing to earn that. And he's using that special as a currency to get something from you, which is probably using you as a commodity to get something that he wants to consume. And so, if you show up in the door and all of a sudden you're the most special thing that he's ever had in his life, that's probably love bombing and it's probably not a healthy thing. But there are women in my life, surely, that I would lay down my life for. But I promise you that, that these are people, not only just women, but people who have profound places in my heart because of who they are and because of the spaces and the voids and the holes that they fill in my life.
Yeah, and one thing that kind of popped in my head while you're talking there was, and of course, I was just watching something, and then you posted that video about the guy with his grandmother passed away or whatever, and the depth of love they had because they went through 40 years together, whatever. The fact that we are not as appreciative, we're not looking long term anymore. We're just thinking about what am I going to get in this moment. We all have these short attention spans, and so with social media and online dating and all these things, we have this overabundance of influence, this overabundance of what we think are options. But what we're finding out is a lot of times those options aren't as good as we think they are because they're surface, they're very shallow. And just to Kirk's point, if you're going out on these Tinder dates or you're going out on these online dates, and then the guy's love bombing you right away, well, he's trying to get something out of you, and he's not thinking about or looking for a long-term relationship. That's fine if those are kind of shallow relationships you want. Sometimes we need those things, but most of us really want to have an in-depth, intimate, a strong long-term relationship. Well, that comes from being special to somebody else, by contributing to somebody else, by being there for them. And ladies, most men, 90 out of probably 9 out of 10, 90 out of 100, don't care about your career. They want to know how supportive you are of them and the family, how feminine you are, how much you can contribute to being his support and his backbone and his special place. But if you're in this competitive, and what with a lot of guys, I watched something a little while ago where all these single ladies now are like, oh, men are intimidated by me. No, they're not intimidated. Intimidation is more of a physical, like, fear presence thing. They just don't see any value because you look like too much work. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. And a lot of that comes from this I'm special mindset. Like, I'm special. You need to treat me. You need to give me all these things. And you, and I. A man looks at that and goes, nah, I'm good. I'd rather just, have my little apartment and be on my own because that looks like nothing but trouble.
Yeah, let me bring my plane in for a landing here this evening.
You got a plane?
I got a plane, man. I'm bringing this thing in for a landing, man. I'm bringing it in. I'm lining up with runway 23 left.
Okay.
And with that, specialness is a me kind of thing. When special culture is me focused. If you want to be special, serve. If you want to be special to a person, serve that person well. If you want to be special to an organization or a group of people or a population of people, serve that population of people. If you want to be special to the world, serve the world. The greatest people are the greatest servants. And so you're waking up, looking in the mirror, telling yourself you're special, or somebody just telling you special that don't even know you, or just because a song said I'm special, or because culture says you're special and all this other, you don't need to bring anything to the table because you are the table. All this other kind of nonsense, man. That's me focus, man. That's emotional damage. I mean, serve if you want to be special. And if you ain't serving, you ain't special. Because special is something that is reciprocated from someone because of a specific connection, a specific something you've done, because of service that you've provided to a person, a community, a population, a place, or whatever it is. So service equals specialness. If you ain't serving, you ain't special.
Yeah, and I'll bring my plane in. So you cannot demand specialness. You can only receive specialness by, to his point, contributing. And nowadays we're attempting to get specialness from the entire world through the internet and through videos and likes and views. That's not true specialness. That's so shallow and it's so temporary. And yeah, you get your dopamine hits from all the clicks, but that's not real specialness. True specialness has nothing to do with what's on your computers, who's in your living room, it's who's at your house. It's who do you spend the most time with, and who knows you the best. And if you're spending all your time isolating yourself from the people actually in your life to try to gain fake, specialist friends on the internet, you're going to end up miserable and lonely. Specialness should be small, especially that's what makes it special. It's rare, it's small group, your family, your significant other. That's who should be special to you. That's who you should be special to. But if you're out there trying to demand specialness from the world, it's not going to happen, and it's going to make you an entitled nightmare that we don't want to deal with or even want to see. So keep it small. Most of us are in the middle 80% because that's where most of us are, and that's okay because that's where most of us really need to be and should be. We don't want the top 10% or the bottom 10%. We want to be right in the middle. So you ain't special, except for to those special people to you. Be special by serving, be special by giving, be special by being your unique, valuable self out in the world. And stop trying to demand specialness, because ain't good luck.
No, ain't at
And
all.
on that
Ain't at
note,
all.
these
That's right.
madmen's, we specially out.
Yeah, we out.
Peace.